Welcome to our brand new series, GED from Zero, where we guide you step by step from the basics all the way to test day. Today we're starting with Chapter 1, What's on the GED test? We'll break down the 4 subjects, the types of questions you'll see, and the key skills you need so you can start your GED journey with clarity and confidence. All right, let's dive into the very first part of the GED test. Reasoning through Language Arts, often called RLA. This section is all about reading, understanding, and using language effectively. About 80% of the questions are reading-focused, around 40 in total. You'll see passages from science, social studies, workplace documents, and a few literary texts. Then, you'll answer questions like, what's the main idea? What details support it? What's the author's point of view? Or even, how does the writer's word choice shape meaning? The goal is to show you can analyze information just like you would in real life. The other 20% of the RLA test focuses on writing and language, which is about 10 questions. These check your ability to organize ideas, use correct grammar and punctuation, and choose the right words. Think of it like editing a short piece of writing. You'll need to spot mistakes and make it clearer. Along with reading and language questions, the RLA test also includes one essay question. This part asks you to read a pair of passages that take different points of view on the same topic. Your job is to decide which author makes the stronger argument and explain why. You don't need to give your personal opinion. Instead, focus on comparing the passages, pointing out which one uses stronger evidence, clearer reasoning, or more convincing examples. A good essay usually has 3 parts: an introduction that explains the main idea, a body with details from the passages and reasons to back up your choice, and a short conclusion that ties it all together. Think of it like showing your work. You're proving to the test that you can read, analyze, and explain clearly. This essay isn't about fancy words. It's about organization, clear thinking, and using evidence. And remember, just like in real life, strong communication is about making your point with support, not just opinion. Now that we've covered reading and writing, let's move on to the part of the GED that worries a lot of people: mathematical reasoning. Don't let the name scare you. This section is really about problem solving with numbers, not just memorizing formulas. The math test has about 46 questions, and you'll get access to an on-screen calculator for most of them. Only the first few questions are no calculator, which means you'll solve them step by step using basic arithmetic. So what's actually on the test? It's split into 2 main areas: quantitative problem solving and algebraic reasoning. Quantitative covers things like fractions, decimals, percentages, ratios, measurement, and geometry. Skills you use every day, whether you're budgeting groceries, comparing prices, or figuring out square footage. Algebraic reasoning focuses on equations, expressions, graphs, and functions, the tools you'll need if you're moving into college, trade school, or technical jobs. You might also see real-world word problems, for example, interpreting charts and tables, or solving a scenario where you need to calculate interest, distance, or probability. These are designed to test how well you can apply math to practical situations, not just do abstract work on paper. Remember, you don't need to be a math genius. The test is about reasoning through problems logically, and with practice and a little help from the right tools, you can absolutely build confidence here. Let's turn to the next part of the GED, social studies. This section is 70 minutes long with about 48 questions. It's not about memorizing dates or random facts. It's about using information to think critically, just like you do when reading the news or making sense of an issue in everyday life. The test is divided into 4 main areas: civics and government, which makes up about half the test. Here you'll look at how the U.S. government works, the Constitution, rights and responsibilities of citizens, and how laws are made. U.S. history, about 20% of the questions, covering topics like the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, and key movements such as civil rights. Economics, about 15%, where you'll apply concepts like supply and demand, interpreting graphs, and understanding how economies function. and geography and the world, another 15%, which includes maps, global issues, and how geography influences culture and politics. So, what kind of skills are tested? You'll need to read charts, graphs, and maps, make inferences, evaluate evidence, and compare different points of view. For example, you might be asked to look at two short passages about government policy and decide which one uses stronger reasoning. Or, you could analyze a graph showing voting trends, then answer questions about what it means. In other words, social studies is less about remembering names and dates, and more about showing you can analyze information and explain it clearly, skills you'll use at work, in college, and as an engaged citizen. Next, we'll move into the final subject of the GED, science, where you'll apply many of these same reasoning skills to scientific concepts and real-world problems. This section gives you 90 minutes to answer about 40 questions. The science test is divided into three main areas. Life science, about 40% of the test, covers topics like the human body and health, genetics and DNA, heredity and reproduction, ecosystems, and evolution. Physical science, another 40%, focuses on atoms and molecules, states of matter, chemical reactions, energy and work, and even motion, forces, and electricity. The final 20% is earth and space science, which includes geological cycles, natural resources, weather and climate, and the solar system. So what skills do you actually need? You'll be asked to read and understand science passages, interpret data from charts and graphs, and evaluate experiments or studies. You may need to compare scientific findings, analyze evidence, or draw a conclusion from data. For example, you might look at a graph showing climate change patterns, or read an experiment write-up and decide if the conclusion makes sense. The key idea is this: you're being tested on how well you can use scientific reasoning, not on how many terms you can memorize. In fact, many questions give you the background information you need right there in the passage or chart. You just need to apply logic to find the answer. And with that, you've now seen the full GED test: reasoning through language arts, mathematical reasoning, social studies, and science. So take the first step today. Your GED is more than just a test. It's your ticket to new opportunities, whether that's a better job, college, or simply proving to yourself and your family that you can do it. You've got this, and we've got your back. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss our upcoming videos.